Maybe let's start off today by we can go around and introduce ourselves. I know we kind of already did, but maybe introduce yourself and then just say something brief about what you do. Forward.
So Dr. Thormanji, I own this Balanced Health Chiropractic and Functional Medicine Wellness Clinic. Been here about 8 years, originally from South Africa. 8 years into practice, loving it, passionate what I do. Really, I'm on the hot seat today, so I'll talk more about that. And so what that is like if we each take a turn, and it's like you have the opportunity to ask a question of the group. If you have a problem that you're working on, maybe in business, even personal. So that's one of the cool things about this group, because you don't really have an opportunity to do that, in like another business networking group. And for me, this is more like personal growth first, business networking second. That's just me. It may mean different things to other people, But we kind of grow the group, it's like also it's accountability. You guys are my accountability partners. The fact that I know that we're working on a book, I have to read some pages, before the next meeting. I know that you guys are going to ask me. It helps me with my headspace, stay positive, because business has cycles, You get stuck in the weeds sometimes, and like sometimes I'll call Doug, hey, how's it going? And just wanted to chat, and that meant a lot to me, So it's cool to have people to pull you up when you're feeling, getting a hard time. So that's why I'm here. Sometimes I think I've told you, when I've driven here, I'm like, I've got this meeting, do I have to go, It's like a 2-hour block, I have to skip on my gym or whatever, but then afterwards it's always like, wow, that was really good. So that's me.
Sarah Reese, I'm the CEO of WorkMind. I specialize in automating systems. Spent the last 7 years basically working with large franchise groups and Fortune 500 companies, walking through their processes, helping them how to automate using either traditional coding, fixing their processes with their people, or also implementing AI. And so that is what we did. We launched our company after doing that for somebody else. My partners and I would all work together. One of them South African, sorry.
They have cool accents.
They do. She's Afrikaans, so I'm
Okay, yeah.
Cape Town.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Exactly.
you have the English accent. No, it's a thing.
Yeah.
But the fun thing is we got into business and we started working and we're focusing a lot on franchises and also small medium businesses. It's more fun to work with the enterprise 500. So that's me. I'm excited. Doug invited me to come in. I'm super excited to be here.
The cool thing is she's here.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Awesome. What was it?
WorkMind.
WorkMind.
Yeah.
Justin Anderson. I'm down the road here in Salem. I a couple months ago started a journey in the finance realm, working for a company called Common Sense out of American Ford. Just learning, trying to grow, meet more people, get new opportunities, everything like that. Background is in agriculture and agronomy, so I know a lot of stuff that way. That's probably where my expertise most probably lies right now, is helping people that way. But like I said, trying to develop that and kind of just promote and talk about the big things that we have going on, Common Sense Financial, and a big company that got started that we're a part of that's trying to go IPO ready in 2028 and all that kind of stuff, and some big changes that are coming that way in the market.
Kurt Geising, so I'm here in town. Got a Goosehead insurance franchise, PNC focused, so property testing, auto home, builders risk, real estate investors. That's where I work a lot, and just added my first employee right now. Looking to scale, so it's going to be a whole other world for me. So excited to be here.
Doug Tarter.
The CEO.
Real estate world. This is good. I like this. So I'm just going to leave it right there.
My name's Garrett Chestnut. I'm a financial planner with Edward Jones. So a lot of my focus is on the investment guidance, and then also on the other side of the spectrum of making sure that your plan's doing what it should. It's great to be here. I've been coming since the beginning.
Where did you guys start?
Oh, it's probably been, you were pretty early on. It's been a year and a little bit-ish. And And my claim to fame is I got Doug here. So,
Great. I'll take cleanup here. I'm Ty Jones. I'm with the Insurance Center of Utah. We have offices in Provo and Payson. Also in the PNC world, we have a payroll company we work closely with. It's a PEO, which is more than just payroll. It's HR solutions. It's cool stuff, but I won't bore you about that. Basically, why I bring that up is because we do a lot of commercial insurance, work comp, general liability, property. Yeah, we do a lot of the personal insurance, life, home, auto, throwing fire stuff like that. But we teach at some insurance school, or not some insurance school, contractor continuing educational schools, insurance portions, things like that. We're helping a lot of people with setting up with this organization that does PEO, basically because it goes hand in hand with insurance. Makes it a lot easier on audits, different things of that nature. It helps with the FICA, FUTA, SUTA, stuff Uncle Sam needs for payroll taxes. So, Ford invited me. I know Ford and Doug very well. I love networking. I've been a part of different groups. Currently, I am president of a chapter here in Payson called BNI Ignite, the Business Networking International Group. And just always looking for opportunities to grow as a person and in business. So, yeah, thanks for inviting me for.
excited to have you here. Perfect. So about 2 weeks ago, we got to have a lunch together. I think 4 of us were there. We decided we want to do one of those again. It was actually pretty great. We met up with leaders and just talked about what was going on in the world, and it's a lot less, I don't know if formal is the right word, but it's a lot less structured than us. So it's kind of just a great way to talk, get to know each other. Like me and Bruce, who's another guy, probably spent half of it talking about scuba diving. And so it's just kind of a little bit more relaxed networking, and that was a lot of fun. Any comments from you two about the lunch we had?
I thought it was great.
And I should have because we were talking about what other things can we do outside of this, because then you get to know people on a different level, right? Yeah, agreed. More relaxed.
So do we want to do another lunch?
We could do karaoke here. So,
We got a few hours.
Yeah.
You guys would kick me out of the building.
Yeah.
So,
That would be good, I think. Yeah.
another lunch.
We're looking to grow the business, the network, the group,
I think it would do it. So if we did it in 2 weeks again, kind of in the half between the
Right, yeah.
mastermind meetings.
So should we pick the place now on that?
Sure.
Yeah.
2 weeks would be the 28th. I won't be here the 28th.
We could do it.
I could do the 21st, 30th, I could do the 4th. Yeah.
30th? What time?
We did one. We just want to do one again. Them Zupas and Peters.
On my calendar it's 7:30, so I apologize.
This is Michelle.
Michelle.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, Michelle.
Oh my goodness.
Right to it. Let's go.
Right.
Yeah, on the hot seat.
On the hot seat. Well, I've been doing massage for 13 years and owned a couple of businesses. Started out young at 20, in my young 20s with a automotive accessories business in Spanish Fork. It was called Redstone. At the time, had it for a few years, and then he became an airline pilot. And then I owned my own massage business, and then went into construction with my my other ex.
Okay.
It's like I don't know how to tell you that, but he was in construction, and then also dumpsters and trucking. And so I ran those offices. I ran the businesses for that, and then going back to massage.
Gotcha. I
So
love it.
that's where I'm at right
You're
now.
a busy woman.
Yeah. Yeah, I enjoy being busy.
Well, we were just kind of talking about so we got together for a lunch 2 weeks ago, and
Okay.
we were kind of planning our next lunch for July 30th, not August 30th. Maybe August 30th too, but today, July 30th. We were
Okay.
trying to decide where we want to go. Do we want to do something here in Payson? Because we went to Spanish Fork the last 2 times.
It'd be easier for me.
Okay, well, you're close, so you pick.
We go to Snapper? Have you been to Snapper?
I'm percent right.
Yeah, let's do that.
That's good.
Snapper, not Snapper. PA, edited. Just kidding.
And it's
1 o'clock.
Thursday,
1 o'clock, 30th.
10 o'clock on the Okay. Well, I guess we kind of started with this next one, member updates. But is there anything anybody wants to add, I guess, apart from the introduction as far as member updates? Okay, so our hot seat. So the purpose of hot seat, this is when someone brings up an issue or something that they want to talk about in the group, kind of discuss and maybe find a solution to. And so we've done this one since the beginning. It's kind of really cool, the things you hear. So Thor is on the hot seat today. But what I would encourage for all of you is take notes of what he asks, because some of the answers he gets are probably going to help you too. Kind of cool. Anything, Thor, I'll let you take it away.
All right, cool. So I'm a chiropractor, do functional medicine, and so I know the healthcare system's kind of a mess, right? Kind of a broken system. So, and I've been doing lots of research, reading books about some MD's solutions to it. And one thing that really hit me was one of the doctors. He's the CEO of Kaiser Permanente, kind of a big hospital group there. And he said that one of the problems with the healthcare system is doctors, chiropractors, practitioners, they aren't tied to results, right? So you go and no one's really tracking results. They aren't saying, hey, this is how you're improving. Sure, they're blood tests. And so I'm like, oh, that's it. Like if you get your roof done, right, you get 2 quotes, and then you start to decide that on the person that's going to fix your roof, right, you pay them 50% up front, right? And then if they do a good job, you pay them the last 50% at the end of the job, right? Imagine if we did that in healthcare, Like the surgery, right? You just pay, so in healthcare, you're just paying for the service to be done. Does that make sense? And they just bill it. There's nothing, there's this, I got this kind of joke. The surgery was a success, but the patient died, right? The surgery is always a success, right? And so it's like, so I was thinking, so Doug asked me, how can I do that in my practice? Be integrity, like show patients how they're really improving. Does that make sense? And tie like results to what they pay, because patients should come in to me and pay for improvement, pay for results, not just pay to get the work done, right?
Hey, Thor.
Yes.
If I can.
Yeah.
So, I have a daughter that she was great until she went to Snow College, and then all of a sudden, out of the blue, she started having seizures. And we don't have that in the family. We've never experienced that. So we take her to a neurologist, and the neurologist, their whole thing was they didn't care what caused it. They just wanted to stop the seizure, which is what he's talked about. So it's like she'd go and have another seizure. Well, here's more medicine. Well, another one, there's more medicine. And it didn't matter why. So,
root cause. So we're trying to get to, because I've got this whole passion to how do we change healthcare, how do we make it better, right? And so you've got to go back to root cause and tracking and measuring, right? And so what I came up with is, and I've been talking to AI a lot, right? Like writing a book, working on my processes, you know? And so what I came up with is something called, you can hand this around. So what I came up with is, well, first of all, my philosophy in my health, in my practice is three main areas that the body gets out of balance. And so here's the thing, like we've made like health and healthcare so complicated, and it's really not. It's back to basics, right? And so this is my core philosophy. We get out of balance structurally, so that's where chiropractic alignment comes into play. And like you got to line up your wheels, make sure your wheel of your car is aligned up, right? So we get out of balance structurally. And also you get out of balance biochemically. What does that mean? Gut health, right? Thyroid, hormones. Does that make sense? Okay, so we also address that in my clinic, and also emotional health. So that's thinking errors, depression, anxiety, and so we also have things to help that. So that's kind of my core three areas that I help people in their health. Does that make sense? Okay, and so I'm like, how do we measure each of those? And so I'm first starting with this in my practice because that's really my wheelhouse. That I do see 70% of my patients come in to improve their structure. And so what I came up with is to have a structural health score. And so this is where I need help. I want to find out if this means a lot to you people. How do I make that more valuable? And so, for example, we have a credit score, right? Everyone knows that, right? And so I want this to be kind of like everyone knows what your health score is. Does that make sense? Yeah. And so in my practice, I'm doing a more thorough evaluation. And so what goes into that is, so it's out of 100. So this is actually mine. And so this is where I need your help on like how to graphically represent it to people. Okay. So my health score out of 100 is 71. Which on that paper, what is? Okay. So let me first read this is what I'm starting to do. So this is brand new. I'm rolling this out this week. This is what the health score represents to me, and kind of give you a critique on it. The health score is an objective measure of how well your body's framework is functioning. It reflects the health and performance of your muscles, joints, spine, posture, balance, and movement, not just whether you have pain. While pain is part of the evaluation, it does not always tell the whole story. Many people have significant structural problems long before symptoms appear, while others may feel pain even after the underlying cause has begun to improve. Your score combines multiple clinical measurements into a single number that's out of 100, making it easy to understand your current level of structural health and track your progress over time. Our goal is not to simply reduce your pain, but to restore proper alignment, improve movement and function, and help your body perform at its highest potential. As your structural health score improves, your body becomes more resilient, moves more efficiently, and is better equipped to heal, perform, and stay healthy for years to come. So, and there's a grading system like mine's 71, which is okay. That's fair structural health. Noticeable structural dysfunction is present. So I'm trying to represent, explaining it better to my patients and what goes into that. So we look at all right. So things I look at, so over here, pain, so I get subjective, what you're telling me, the pain. And so the thing I'm trying to get across to people is pain's not the best measure that you're doing well. Does that make sense? Like a heart attack, the first symptom of a heart attack is usually the heart attack itself. You're lucky if you get like premonitions of the heart. Does it make sense? But a week before that, were they healthy? No, they weren't, right? But if you just go by symptoms, they were, right? No pain, right? Does it make sense? Or another example, a splinter in your foot. Maybe causing a lot of pain, but not a big problem. You take the splinter out, you're fine, right? So pain's not always the best indicator that you're healthy. Does it make sense? And so I get subjective findings, pain. We rate them on a scale. Now I've got a whole spreadsheet, and I turn like there's range of motion. I look at the neck, how the neck's moving, back. I get people to squat, and I take all these measurements and turn them into numbers. And so I want feedback from you. Does this mean something to you guys? Is that helpful? I want to get your feedback.
I would say I really like the idea. Simply, I'm sitting here taking notes of how can I do something similar.
Okay, yeah.
And so I think it's cool because it gives us an objective.
Yeah.
Hey, I actually am improving.
It's funny. Me and Doug are kind of doing the same thing in our business. We came about this kind of the same way, right? Yeah. So it's like, how do you explain things? How do you what I'm saying? But
I think one of your tricks is going to be making sure that the client knows how the score is put together.
yes, that's what I'm.
making sure they know the details. So, like, if it's structural, so just to be open here, we were here yesterday.
Yeah.
For chiropractic stuff, and I thought you walked through really well with my wife.
Yeah.
The different parts of what led to her score. And so I think as long as the client understands, let's make it up so they know the areas that they can improve on.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, if I was to do something similar, it could be emergency fund. You have 6 months of an emergency
Right.
fund. You're 3 months, you get 2 out of 10, or 3 out of 10.
Right.
5 out of 10.
Yeah, that's what I need to get better at. Like explaining what these I think. Let's see. What were you gonna say?
Oh, she. I was gonna say she also.
The other question for you,
Yeah.
because that's again very data driven. Where is the baseline coming from, and then does the score also adjust for things like age, sex, any other like external like factors? Because I mean, if somebody comes in and they've got like cerebral palsy,
Right.
I mean, are we scoring them based on the average person, or are we scoring them on somebody who's like coming to CP? And so the question is, how and where does the baseline come from? Like, where's our ideal person coming from?
Yeah. I haven't done age 6. Like I had, and then I'll do extra testing where, like a special problem. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I had, like I do a general squat, but I'm not doing like a full knee exam, and I had a dancer come in and she's got a major knee, so I kind of do a little side testing for that, Or like we had someone's going to bring in their baby that had cerebral palsy, and that would be, I wouldn't even maybe do this. So,
But the question is like,
okay.
because I mean, one of the big issues they have with general medicine is 90% of the standards are based off of studies they did with 100 white middle-class men in like the 1940s. So the problem is if you're a woman or life's changed, or anybody who is not fitting that mold, it's not being accounted for. And so the question is, how do you have this set up so it can be adjusted to kind of tweak that? Because I mean, that might be something too. Because I mean, you make it more meaningful too. Because it's like, yes, based on.
No, that I haven't.
Well, not just on here, but to play off of what she was saying, are there parts of those objectives that don't matter who you are? Like if your neck's more flat, then it doesn't matter unless you have cerebral. Right. And so maybe part of your trick's going to be figuring out which ones are general, and which ones do you need to alter based on age.
Right.
No, what I was gonna say, Thor, I love this, and then you're able to pull it out and track,
I can track trends. Are they improving? Yeah.
But as a novice, as someone just looking at that chart, here's what I see: 71 out of 100. Oh, that's a C.
Right.
And then, is that good? Is that bad? Is that, the other
That's why I have that rating system there.
Yeah, for clarification. But I'm just saying for this graphic,
Okay.
that's good clarification. But the wheel, I like the colors, but for me as a novice, to know if something's good or bad, I mean, we all know what like red, yellow, green are. Maybe consider putting like here's where you need improvement. You know, this is a red, this is a yellow. You're okay, but you need caution. You're in the green. You're doing well here.
Yeah. Okay.
You know,
Cool.
That's just something.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to build on that for a second because going to UI UX, like somebody how they see something. The other thing is I like to journal outline, but I think it does make sense because the colors have meaning and make it so it can flag to somebody in 2 seconds. Like if I see it, although I will admit when I saw your score was sunrise, oh heck, I'm in trouble. Yeah. But the other thing I run into though is that if I were a patient, I'm looking at this. There's too much going on for me to understand exactly where everything is, and so part of it may be getting rid of the graphics, which almost sounds counterintuitive, which is having like a simple like
thought
one word.
of putting more actually, like having these things spiral out. So what does that even mean? The pain, or what is the function? No, people don't know what that means. You know.
Yeah. What I would almost do is I would have the first bit be very simplistic.
Okay.
This is it. This is your score, and then you can have a second that you can open into that explains it more. But that also, if you color code it, so you're green here, yellow, red. It might even throw in an orange in depending on how much you want to scale it. But here's your areas. This is what you're looking like. Here's your initial score. Now let's talk about what this actually means. Go into it from there. Because if you try to put too much up front, you're going to overwhelm.
Right. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Take out a little bit. I would take out the out of 100. Just let it be a 71. At least then it's a measuring stick.
Okay.
Because then you could even, by age, you could say if you're dealing with a really old patient, you're really amazing is a 70. It's
Right. Yeah.
40 years old.
That's where the age comes into age.
That would also simplify, the age, sex, and other issues. Yeah.
Because then you could almost like a bell curve, right? You could adjust. Here's where you're at. That's good for your age or your condition or whatever it is. We're going to still try and move you up, or you know what I mean?
So I'm going to go completely a left turn based off of what Kurt was saying.
Okay.
What if instead of a score, that score was your age? So structurally, Doug, you have the structure of an 80-year-old man.
Oh, right.
You know, structurally, biochemically, you're a 16-year-old person, and so then your score becomes, your whole score becomes, your life expectancy kind of is 84. Yeah. It's a 71. Because to me, when I first saw the 71, that's where my head went. Huh. It's like, Thor's going to live till he's 71 and a month.
Right. 1 point. Yeah.
But I mean, if you did something like that, would that kick in and make it a little bit more urgent too? Because now you're looking at, well, you know what? I'm only going to live till I'm this unless I start doing something about it.
Well, I could do that and say that kind of represents you. Yeah, it's your biological age or your real age. Like as I walked out the door, my wife's like, "What about that?" It's like, do people know what their real age is versus their biological age? They're really healthy. A 54-year-old is 42. So yeah.
So can I just say something about I'm kind of a neuroscience.
Yeah,
nerd.
she is. Yeah.
And there's a thing that is super real, and it's called medical hexing. And when you say something to somebody, it is like casting a spell on them.
Yeah.
And you need to be very aware of it.
Yeah.
Words, numbers, they are very hard on people, on our brains, on our noggins, especially people that are, they want an A in everything. They want the 100%. And when they don't, it is very stressful to them. And it's just going to add a level of stress. There's that piece to it. So how could it be something that is brought up to them in their health that is very encouraging all the way across?
You could tell clients that score's going up, because if you're not doing it out of 100 anymore, it could be like you're winning if the score's going up.
Well, I did that.
That's your A, is your improvement score.
And I like keeping the score like based for you. You know, it's out of 100. But then for clients, they don't need to. I agree, that's extra information, but it also makes it so it becomes an easier psychological game too.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to diminish what you just said, but I mean,
Right.
it is like psychologically helping somebody. No, you started at
Right.
60, and now we're up to 64. Like, this is fantastic.
Because you were talking about when doctors say you have a year to live, they live to a year and 1 day, right?
Yeah.
Because of the
Yeah.
because there's the placebo effect, that's the good effect, and there's the nocebo effect, where it's the negative, where it's all like predicative. But yeah. Oh, interesting.
Greek tragedy. So.
Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
yes.
Wow.
So how do you measure that measure?
How do you measure without measuring?
Yeah.
Well, I know, and I also think part of it does come into taking out the out of 100 because
That's
by doing
interesting.
that it would
Yeah. I like that actually.
Like, but I totally resonate with what you said. Like, Thor's a 71, what am I? Like, yeah, I'm what, a 40? And I'm expecting Thor's score to be like 90, and I'm like, oh,
I know, right?
well, I'm never going to sniff 70. Stupid. So presenting it, that's my score. I don't know if you would do that to patients. I wouldn't if I were you. You know what I mean? Because as a patient, I don't want to know that my doctor, who I think is super like dialed in, is a 70. Unless 70, I can in my mind equate to that's killer. Right. Like, I don't want to see 70 as fair.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Say your score is 40, and then you see that as a 70.
Well, that's what I would expect to see is a 40 and a 70, right? Honestly. But if 70 is fair, the bottom end of fair, then
Why should I go?
because I'm like, not just
in the grave.
right. Well, because I'm like, that should be my goal. Right? I'm again outside looking in, right? Always dialed in. Going to the gym, dialed in. In my head, that's my goal, and now my goal is to get fairly to fair. So I think that
That's good.
presents
So
some
good.
Score is probably about 2.
Yeah, okay, cool. That's very helpful, yeah, because I'm trying to see, how can this mean more things? Because I'm thinking from my perspective, I don't have like novice or whatever,
Yeah.
So it's like, what?
But ultimately, the trending, which is what I think what you started saying, being able to see, look, you came here, you were here, now you're here.
Exactly.
Right? I
Tracking,
think that
improvement.
is huge.
Yeah,
Love
exactly. And the only place they're doing is really blood tests, but that's obsolete in like 6 months, So okay, cool. Thank you. Other thing is, this is probably another discussion. I need help figuring out how to do that graphically in that AI and that. I've kind of been using Chat GPT, but maybe.
We'll have a conversation.
Okay, good, And so that's my weakness because I got a spreadsheet and I barely got this done like that. I was quite proud of myself to do that. How do you make that reproducible? Yeah, so that was good. All right, thank you so much.
That was probably one of the best hot seats I've seen in a long time. That was great.
Thanks for the feedback. That was amazing.
You guys were fantastic volunteering.
And that's huge value because, how do I get this right? How do I get that and that feedback, from people in different careers, different perspectives? That's huge, right? Because we started doing, we did a little patient survey of we had questions asking people, about do they have problems with the healthcare system, and that was huge. But that was a lot of work, to send out, stuff, get the data back and that. But just for your information, what our survey said is people don't think the healthcare system gets to the root cause, which was interesting. Actually, that was second. Number one is actually doctors don't listen to them. So that was interesting. That came back loud and clear. And so in my practice, I'm trying to.
Did you see everybody's heads doing this?
Yeah, it's crazy, right? And because they got 5-6 minutes if they going through the healthcare system and the insurance, because they don't have time to really take care of people. So root cause and people don't listen to it. Thank you very much.
So this next portion that we usually do is our book review. And now I haven't been reading the book. I know Doug is kind of in charge of it this time, and then Thor has been reading the book. The book we have this time is The Hard Thing About Hard Things.
That's what it is, yeah.
By Ben Horowitz. And so this book, typically we take it in quarters, right? Or we do it in thirds. We usually do it in thirds. And then we just discuss it every month. And
What was the book we did before that?
Relentless solution focus.
Yeah, that was really good.
Yeah, we've had some good books that for the last year or so.
So this is part networking group, part book club, part.
Well, just personal growth, you know. So the first chunk of this book up till about page 70 is the author's track in business, and how many times he's failed and how many times he's just gone through things. To me, honestly I found that rather egotistical a little bit, going, well, this is me, this is what I did. But there were a couple of things in there that, to me, I found that were pretty interesting and worth noting. If I can find them again here. On page 22, there's a paragraph there that I think it best just serves to read it. But it says, people offer many complex reasons for why Bill rates so high. Bill is the person in the book. In my experience, it's pretty simple. No matter who you are, you need two kinds of friends in your life. The first kind is one you can call when something good happens, and you need someone who will be excited for you. Not a fake excitement, failing envy, but a real excitement. You need someone who will actually be more excited for you than he who would be if it had happened to him. So that's the first friend, somebody that's more excited for you than you are. The second kind of a friend is somebody you can call when things go horribly wrong, when your life is on the line and you only have one phone call. Who is it going to be? And to me, I think the who is it going to be is something that we can all ask ourselves. Is, realistically, who is it? And I know as I kind of pondered that, in my world, I've got a lot of acquaintances, and the friendships are fewer and farther between. Because to me, a friend is somebody that I can call at 2 in the morning and I know they'll come and help. And so I think in the world today, I think those people, those relationships, and I think a lot of it started with COVID, but I think those things have just spread out and they're just aren't there like they used to. I back in the day, we had a friend of one of our kids that his dad kicked him out when he had just graduated school, and he was living in his truck at the Walmart parking lot. And we told him that wasn't going to happen, so we moved him into our house and just told him that in our family we needed a redhead because we didn't have one. And anyway, but it was interesting to watch because he was an only child and stuff that way. But he'd gone on a date and his truck broke down in Nephi. And he had a flat in Nephi and didn't have a spread. So at 11 o'clock, he made the phone call, and me and all three of my boys took off and went and got him fixed and got him back on the road. He just looked at me and he goes, I don't think that would have never happened in any other circumstance for me. And so to me, it's like, with that one statement, it really is today, who would you call? And I'll just leave that for you to ponder unless you want to talk about it.
Well, it's sad. It's like when you go through life, you realize who those people are that are going to show up in your life and who aren't, And sometimes, just because you have relatives and brothers and that, you think those are going to show up. But sometimes it's the best friend that shows up more than your family, which is pretty sad when you realize that. And just because you grew up in the same family, sometimes you can't trust that. You can't rely on them.
I think everybody has a purpose in your life. Some stay
Yeah.
for a little bit, some stay for a long time.
And then kind of looking at it, flipping it over, there are some fluff in your life that some of the best things I've heard are like, hey, for rocket, you know, to take off, yeah, there might be some boosters, but eventually for it to get to its destination, it has to shed those boosters. Sometimes to become the best version of yourself, you have to say a lot of goodbyes that are hard. And so, you know, just I don't know. You've probably seen that video that got pretty hot. Someone asked an old man, you know, what's the best life advice, and he said, "You're the CEO of your life. You can pick and choose who you want to be in, who you want to be out. Hire, fire accordingly." And so, yeah, you want the good friends. You want to surround yourself. You want to keep some of those drainers at a distance, and some, hey, they were boosters to help you get to a certain point, but now they're just holding you back, and you know, so yeah, sometimes you'll have to. I've been blessed. I have not had to tell very many people like, hey, get away from me. You know? So I feel thankful, you know, but I know there are people, a lot of friends, family that deal with these situations. Have to have those hard, difficult goodbye conversations.
Another way of phrasing it as well that I like is there are two circles in it. People you're close to, you know, you rely on, and you emotionally invest in those people. And then my sister puts it this way, she's like, and then everyone else is there for your entertainment. Like, and I think it ties very much into that though in a more lighthearted way too, is that yeah, you can, there's a lot of people, you pick the people who are close to you. I've discovered the older I get, the more I pick my quote unquote family. I have a family, they're nice people. But I have but the people who I'm really close to and I know I can rely on are the people I keep close, they keep me close. But then I think you are right. I think there is a point where there are certain people who you do have to say goodbye to, and not because a grown you type of a thing, but just because you get to a point where are they holding you back? Are they causing negative things to be happening that don't need to be happening?
Right, and not necessarily because it's not from a stance of like, oh, I'm better than you.
Yeah.
It's of you're diverging, your agendas are different. You know, maybe they're not a bad person, but it's not where you want to be.
And I heard that and I started analyzing myself because I instantly thought of those friends that I know I can count on, and then I was like, okay, now am I doing what I need to be that friend back?
Yeah.
I started analyzing my own when I heard that instead of like, who can I count on? Because I know who I can count on, but can they feel they can count on?
Yeah.
Awesome. So then I guess the last one that I found in here, like I said, that whole first third of the book was just kind of, in my opinion, just kind of there. But this one was interesting because I think most all of us fall into this category. This on page 59, but he says, startup CEOs should not play the odds. When you're building a company, you must believe there is an answer, and you cannot pay attention to your odds of finding it. You just have to find it. And to me, it's like, well, you know, I took that in the real estate world. They just came out and said that 84% of real estate agents nationwide have not done one deal in a year and a half. I don't know how they're feeding anything or what they're doing, but it's like, so 84% nationwide, it's like, how many of them are just finding? Just do it. Go, we've had that one before, just do it. Yep. So anyway, I thought that was interesting to, we can't wait for things and go find the fluff. We just got to go do it. Dig in and go do it. So,
Nice. And then we usually wrap things off with our action plan and kind of assigning the roles for next time. So who does what next time? Since I straight up dropped the ball on hosting, I'm happy to do it again because now I actually bring breakfast next time. Unless you'd rather have someone else do it. Since I dropped the ball.
So what are the assignments if you can?
So we have the
So-
host, which is mine, where you kind of direct it, and then you provide breakfast, which is usually something simple. Fruit bowl, bagels,
something real healthy.
Exactly.
Omelet bar,
Yeah, we're gonna cook eggs. Yeah. And then hot seat, which is what Dora did today. So you kind of bring issue that you're having, and you want our feedback on it. So who wants hot seat for next time? Next time's August 11th. By the way.
August 11th.
I can step away. Well,
I would like to.
just
And it's
because,
Ty?
well, it's Tyler, but everyone got place dropped in the gutter. So,
August 11th, right?
What was the last name?
Jones.
I work for Edward.
There you go.
I won't be here.
Yeah, I take the buck, but unless they have pictures.
And then for the book review, I am not caught up on the book, and I think the only one here that's remotely qualified to
I'll
do
do
it
it.
is probably
I'll do it.
Dora.
So what pages are we doing there?
How many pages?
I went to page 70.
70. Okay.
So 70 to 140.
Yeah, 70 to 140 ish. Yeah.
Perfect. And then, so next meeting, the 11th of August, same place, Thor?
Yep.
Okay, fantastic.
That is
7.
7 a.m. Yeah. And then on the 30th of July, we're having our lunch, where we're meeting at Snappa,
Yes.
Snappa at 1 o'clock on the 30th.
And also look to invite people that are like-minded, want to become better business personally.
Exactly. I like that a lot. Find people that are wanting to add to this group that you think would be a good addition to it. Yeah, we'll go from there.
Just one little last thing. I've been listening to interviews about Elon Musk. It was interesting, and he said the one thing is work your butt off. He would work 80 to 120 hours. He slept on Tesla's floor, for 3 years. But one thing he said, one guy asked him, how do you help entrepreneurs become motivated? And he said, well, if they aren't self-motivated, they shouldn't even be in business. That's interesting. So it's you've got to be motivated. Don't look for motivation externally. I guess that would.
And going off of that a little bit too, what I've always heard is motivation follow it. Don't let motivation dictate your action. Let your action dictate your motivation instead.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how yesterday I had 10 calls that I did not want to make. I absolutely didn't want to make.
Yeah.
But I did the first one, and the other 9 were easy.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of